Today we're making Victorian style Christmas home decor. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome. We're going to start off with some oiled bronze metallic spray paint and some gold paint. Whatever shade you like. I like something that looks a little old. I'm going to use a piece of a sponge and a dish. I've got some trim here. You can use any kind of trim or ribbon you want. We're going to add greenery. I've got these little bells that I thrifted. They're not actual bells, but they look like it. You can use buttons and beads. You just got to let your imagination run wild with this. It's a little mini frame. I ordered mine from TEMU. These were thrifted, a little teddy bear and a piano and a book. I thought they would be cute in here. We'll just use the opposite side, of course. Some little pieces that I've used on ornaments I've made in the past, I just took those off. Got some instruments, some stockings, and a little angel. And then here are our two little angels or cherubs. And I have this dove. Just a plastic ornament. I have a tree here, but I'm going to swap it out for something else. These are some little flowers that are made from ribbon. And you can pretty much get these any craft store. And then this is from a lovely subscriber who sent me some things in the mail. So these are some Victorian or vintage looking pieces. This is a Melissa and Doug puzzle box or doll box. I don't know. But you see all these little cubbies? This is going to be great to use as a display piece or curio. If yours is dirty, mine's already been cleaned, but it's been sitting up, so I'm just going to dust it with a brush. But if yours is come from a thrift store, someone else's home or wherever, be sure you wipe it down really well, wash it off, take the sticker off the back. Notoriously, Melissa and Doug stickers are ridiculous to get off. They don't want anybody copying their style here. Yeah, they're hard to get off, but this was a lot easier, and I was surprised. Maybe this is something newer, and it hadn't had a chance yet to just be stuck on there for life. So once that's done, I'm going to take this outside. I'm going to do the outside, all of the inside with this oiled bronze paint. I love the way that looks. Back cleaned up nicely when I took the sticker off. Love it. It looks sort of like a metal box, and we're just going to go with that. I'm going to take a little of that gold paint, put it in my little paint dish over there. You don't have to have one of these, but it was there. I was cleaning and it was there, so I used it. Why not? Now I'm going to take this little piece of sponge. Y'all, this is a sponge that came from Dollar Tree. It's a bath sponge. You can cut these into bits and pieces and then make sure that all of your little pieces, that there's no edges, so it looks more like a natural kind of look. So it's not so repetitive. You don't have a pattern forming in it, in other words. And then you can move your fingers back and forth, round and round, rotate that sponge as you're moving. Hey, unless you want to create a pattern, you can do that too if you want to. You can totally leave this out, or you can dry brush this in whatever color that you like. If you don't have spray paint, you can spray it with chalk. You could use a little chalk paint or some acrylic paint. You know, this is just how I'm doing it. But as always, I encourage you to make yours your own. If there's something you like better, do it. I love that for you. Okay, so using a sponge, you can brush it on. I wanted to show you, if you do brush it on, you're not going to get a very solid look, and it just looks like you put a little bit of effort into putting that around the edge. To me, I'd rather see brush strokes than do it that way. So I went back over all of mine and pounced it, because to me it looks a little bit better. It looks a little more convincing as far as being aged. So I went over the grid work, and then to do the inside of the boxes, I'm taking a chippy brush. Really wanted the one that was a little more narrow to get in those top pieces, but this one worked. I squeezed it in there. It was wet because I use it a lot, and I had washed it and was letting it dry. So I'm just going side to side, and here lightly, back and forth with this brush. This is going to give it a little bit of, looks like scratches on the back. So that's what I've got on the back of it. And you know, metal gets that kind of look as it ages. just my experience. I know that somebody is going to tell me that that is not what it does, but you know, I'm using my imagination here, y'all. Okay, I've never actually sat around for years to see what happens to bronze paint. If you're loving things that I do on my channel and you're learning things and you're just having a good time over here listening to me chat away, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me as far as YouTube goes. They see that I'm putting out valuable material that you want to see what I'm putting out, and they'll show it to you more often. And I appreciate you so much for it. Okay, so then I'm going to just dry it. I just dried it off a little bit there. I am going to take my little, these are like cardboard. They're ornaments, but they're like a cardboard type material. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It's thicker than cardstock. And then I had the tree and I thought, let me put this tree down here. I want it to look like she's flying above it. This tree is not going to work. I don't like that. It looks a little too rustic for what I'm going for. So I'm just going to bring in a white tree. The colors that I am liking in here are bronze, gold, white, peach, and I'm really kind of getting those ideas from the little angels that we're using here. They're both female angels. Those are the only ones that I found when I was thrifting. They've been used before. That's why that one has a missing spot off the back side of it. And it's nice to have them like this too, because you know, this one isn't even, she doesn't have any damage, so you can put her face in either direction. And I like that. We want it to look like maybe one's a little lower than the other. That little gold tree is not going to stay. I put a lot of things out before I glue them in place to get an idea of what feels right. And I encourage you to do that too. Now these beads, I don't remember. I've had them for so long. They're like a ball, but it has a opening in the middle, like you could string it up on a line or something, but it has pearls all around it. I thought, how cute would that be as like a chandelier? Maybe they're in rooms and these are chandeliers up above them. So that's what I decided to do with those. You can use beads for that. You could use, maybe even have some chandelier stickers. You could put stickers in here. Definitely, if you can't find the little miniature things. That little piano, I'm trying to get the scale right, and I thought, okay, do we put it up top, or no, that's a little too crowded, so I'm going to put it down in a little bit bigger size here with a little hot glue. You can also use double stick tape, mounting tape, those types of things here if you want to, but with hot glue, if you want to recycle, it's a little easier to take things apart and use them again with the hot glue. So then I'm going to decide, I put the blocks on the back to give some dimension to the angels so everything doesn't look flat. I like to have some things coming out, some things receding in the back. It just gives some depth and it really keeps your brain and your eye busy. A lot of things to look at. So I used these on an ornament last year or the year before, and I just pulled those off and we're going to use them in this. They have little treats in the stockings. I love how the toes are curled, kind of curled on those. They're very cute. Then I'm going to just put her here. There's my little teddy bear. I know you can't see him very well, but I'm going to put him there. I do have another teddy bear, so he'll be in another project this year. Then I decided to use those flowers, the peach and cream flowers, on the Christmas tree as ornaments. So I put those all over the tree. A gold tree would have been really pretty here, but I couldn't find my mini gold tree. There's no telling where it is. The basement is an absolute disaster zone in here. It really is. There's a lot of stuff all over the place, y'all. I'm preparing some wonderful Christmas goodness for y'all, so be sure that you hit that like button and that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I put out new videos. And I thank you for it. Alright, so my little cherub was used on my Love Potion number 9 bottle from Halloween last year, and she had a bunch of different colors on her, and I've decided to go back over it with the gold. If you let that gold dry, you can also go back over it with a wax, and that'll really bring out everything on there. But I didn't do it for the little angel. I do it later. There are some beautiful little shoes that I put on here, and I actually do that for those. So for those two little bell pieces, I'm going to pull the silver thread off of it, and I'm going to put them together. Try to fit them together before I put the glue on to know that I have a good enough surface area, because otherwise I would need to wire them if there wasn't a big enough area for the glue to sit to attach them. I'll set it aside and let that firm up, and then I am going to work on our instruments. So all the little instruments, we got the violin and the harp. We're going to put that all up here in this corner. All right, remove my spider webs because this is not a Halloween project. It's a beautiful button that I thrifted. I've got a few more of these. The color is so good for this, but I thought, well, I just want to highlight it a little bit with the gold, just because, you know, we experiment when we craft. And I thought, yeah, let's just do this almost like it's a wax and see what it looks like. By the way, I ordered some of the waxes. I mean, you know, the little tubes of waxes. What are they called? You know what I mean. And they're in a bunch of different colors. I ordered some and I can't wait for them to arrive from Amazon. I'm going to use those and see if I like them because I was asked. So I'm going to give them a shot. I'm going to put that book on top almost like it's a maybe a songbook on the top, Christmas songbook. I'll put the bead on the top just for a little decoration maybe. Then I've got some buttons that look old. So I am going to use my little cutters here, and I'm just snipping off the little round part where the button attaches, where you put your thread through. I'm going to cut that off. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I don't know it. And I'm just going to put these as a display up here. They kind of remind me of little cameos, so I think that's appropriate for the Victorian look that I want to achieve in here. So if you don't do Victorian, then what could you do instead? Well, you could do anything you want. If you want to do gingerbread men, you could do gingerbread in here. If you wanted to do, I don't know, 50s and 40s Christmas, you could do that in here. If you have special ornaments, you can do that in here. It's just a display box, you know, it's just a little something pretty. And if you don't have a lot of room in your house for decor, but you do have some little pieces that really mean something to you, if you do this, it takes up very little space as far as profile, and it's pretty. It's interesting, you know. All right, so these are just little, they're not chipwood, but they're not a sticker either. But you put tape on the back or you put glue on the back to hold them in place. But the color wasn't right for me, so I sprayed them with that bronze. I'm going to let those dry under my fan. And I'm going to take this little frame that I have and decide on my little scrap of paper which I want. And I thought, well, you know what? We have instruments in here. We have angels in here. And it is Christmas. So let's use sheet music. So I cut this little piece out. And I trimmed it down to fit. I'm using my quick and thick with a thin brush and put it all the way around the back. I need to use this rather than hot glue because if I put this on and I get my lines crooked, it will drive me crazy for all eternity. So if I use the quick and thick, I can actually put it on the back, flip it over, and slide it just a little bit before it grips and dries, which I love about this glue. Kendra from Late Night Creations is the one who told me about this. And I do love this. I do love this glue. I use it a lot. So you can slide it a little bit if you need to and get your position right. Then I'll push it down and then I can put that aside and let that dry. Once it is dry, we'll add a little hot glue on the back and I'm going to put that picture on the wall. Y'all excuse my head. I was getting carried away. And I'm going to put that right underneath those bells. Now to brighten this up a little bit, because it's really just kind of melting into the back, I wanted to take that same gold on a little brush and go over the ornate designs that are on the sides of this lovely little metal frame. You could also use the miniature frames you get at Dollar Tree. All right, so I took the back off of this button and I think I'm going to put it in that box. And then I remembered the shoes, these little shoes. They're so cute. I found one while I was thrifting, and one of them was in the bag of stuff that my subscriber Colleen sent to me. How wonderful is that? So they needed to be painted again. They really needed a little more paint because one of them was a little more worn, the one that I thrifted probably. And I wanted the two to be the same color. So I went over it with gold, and I went over the other one with the gold too to make them the same exact color. I want to thank you, whatever brought you to my channel today. Your support means absolutely the world to me. Going through a divorce right now, being the mother at home with my kids, working from home. It's a lot, y'all. And this is what I do for a living. This is my job. This is the bread and butter of our lives. This is what is keeping us going. So your support means absolutely so much to me. You couldn't even know. You just couldn't know. All right, the button. I decided to double that up, add a block on the back to give it some dimension as well, and glue it down in that, let that be in that area by itself. Some of these buttons, they're like two pieces. You see how the top just kind of pops off? But once you cut the back off and you put enough glue on there, the glue will stick those two pieces together. The Crafty Cruise Getaway is coming, y'all. We've got lots and lots of people coming. By the way, some of my subscribers are signed up, and I want to thank you. I cannot wait to meet you and give you a big old hug. Oh, I'm so excited, y'all, and it's really not that far away. Christmas is going to be here before you know it, and then the cruise is in February, and I am just about to lose my mind. I really need a break. All right, now this is some of that beautiful ribbon that I've had for a few years that I found while I was thrifting. Some people ask me that are new here, where do you thrift? What store do you go to? I go to the Goodwill Pay by the Pound store in Mobile, Alabama. That is where I get my goodies. That is the closest that I can get to it. That is not where I live, but I live north of there. But I find some wonderful things there. Now this bow I'm making is very, very easy. This ribbon is not wired. I'm going to use a piece of jute in the middle. You're not really even going to notice that there's jute in the middle. If you're worried about mixing styles, there's no worry. I'm just going to tie it in the middle. I wanted the bow to be small enough that I could get it on her, on the second angel, without looking too overwhelming, I guess. So 2 knots in there. Going to clip it off right above the knot, add a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to put it down where she already has a ribbon or a sash around her dress. I thought, okay, well, this isn't wired, but I can curl this ribbon. I sure can. So I curled it with my finger, added a little hot glue, and held it in place. And once your glue is dried, it's going to hold that shape. It's not going to move. So we'll do that one more time. I'm just going to twist it around with my fingers, add a little glue on the back, and push it down on the background. And that will keep that curl. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Another peach, beautiful flower right there on her waist. Then I'm going to go to this greenery I found. Now I use this greenery because it is actually green underneath the gold. So the tone in here is more of a tarnished or older look. You can see you see what I'm talking about? It's not solid, bright, brassy gold. And it's holly. I believe it's holly. It's got some berries on it. I love it. I cut it off the branch in pieces that had 4 leaves and pieces that had 2 leaves, and then one just has 1 leaf, just to give us a little bit of variety, and then put them here and there all over the box because, again, it's Christmas, and we kind of want to keep that whole Christmas greenery vibe in here because there's really not a lot in here except for the tree, which now that I look at it, I clearly needed to use a gold tree because that white is just sticking out. But we do have the white bells and the pearl chandeliers, so who knows. So we're going to take this cheapy looking color that we had. I'm going to paint over it with that more of an aged gold color. Let it dry. Then I'm going to grab some of that gel wax I've been using. And I did get that from Amazon, y'all. I'm going to go over this beautiful bird with this wax. I do still use my antiquing wax as well, and if you want to use your antiquing wax, because those who follow me definitely have antiquing wax in their arsenal and their weaponry for crafting. So use that if you would rather use that. I'm just changing it up because, you know, no growth comes if you don't make changes. So I'm trying. Let's see where our imagination takes us. We'll try something new. I'm going to put this down, and the instruction says on this that you need to let this wait 3 to 4 minutes to dry, and then you can wipe it back. I'm making sure that it is pressed down. This is like almost like a stencil brush. It's got those coarse hairs in it. We're going to press it down into all of the crevices. Thank you so much to those of you who donate to my channel through your memberships. So we have let these letters dry now, and I decided that Noel was an appropriate word, right? It's appropriate. And I'm going to use a little bit of that gold to go all over the edges so that it looks like the same metal that the box looks like. So it will look like it all goes together. If you don't want to use the metal look, you don't want to use the metallic look, you could definitely do something like white. You know, if you're doing farmhouse, you could do a natural wood color. Could have done that too if I would have sanded this box down, but ain't nobody got time for that, a wise woman once said. So I'm going to just do what I can with what I got. All right. Now I decided that definitely want these. I could have put them on top with some blocks behind them, but I decided I wanted to attach them to the box itself. So I'm putting Noel right here on the side. I'll start with the first and last letter and then try to space the two in the middle evenly. Using a ruler just as a guide so that they are all sitting in the same position, I am gluing down one by one, making sure the glue is on the piece that's actually touching the box. I mean, it only makes sense, right? You don't need glue if it's not touching the box in that area. So that's what I'm doing. Put it on there. I don't want drips to get underneath and mess up all that effort that I had, right? You want to put lights in your box, you are most welcome to do it. For this one, I am not going to do that. Not everybody likes the lights. And then I'm going to find placement for my beautiful dove. Now it's time to wipe off all of that wax. And I decided, yes, I'm going to use hot glue. Now I recommend you use something other than hot glue if you don't want yours to fall off. So far, so good for me. But generally, you're not going to want to put any hot glue where you have wax because it would now be a slick surface and it's not going to adhere. So E6000, Quick and Thick, whatever type of glue that you have good experience with. I could even have used some of that double stick mounting tape I use all the time. I have added some things that I frequently use in the description box of my video if y'all decide y'all want to, if you have questions about that. I am a TEMU affiliate and an Amazon affiliate, so just know that I don't make any extra money when you buy, but if you go through my link, you know, I get a little bit of a reward. I'll put it that way. It's not that I don't make money off of it, but I get a little bit of money, but it doesn't cost you anymore. There we go. There's the words. Oh, the words, y'all. So this is how mine is going to look. I think it's pretty. You see I added that extra white tree down there, and when you look at the reveal, I added a little bit of that ribbon trim right on the top by the wording. This really did not take long to do. The main thing is deciding where you want to put your pieces, and then if you want to paint over any of your pieces. Just a reminder about mental health this month. Talk to somebody if you're having problems. Please don't feel like you're not worthy. Don't feel like nobody understands you or wants to be around you or loves you. I want you to know that I love you, and you get my prayers whether you want them or not every single day. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Check out this little box right here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.